Hello, momentum makers. How are you? It has been a long time since I've been on here. And I don't know about you, but the summer is going by so quickly. And I have been on a few vacations, some wonderful vacations with my family. We've been able to travel abroad and then come home and um, then go down to the beach and rejuvenate for a week. So it's been a wonderful summer. And sometimes we just need those kind of breaks. And so it's been a while since I've been on, but I wanted to come on because you're going to start to see some changes in this channel. I'm changing the title. It's going to be it looks like I'm going to be changing it to Momentum Makers. Um, and that's what you guys are, is momentum makers. We're moms that are looking to have that momentum, that have that forward move, get away from that stress and overwhelmed feeling, and also have more time and financial freedom. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Stacy Johnson. I'm a resilience and momentum specialist, and I help overwhelmed moms create calm from chaos, build lasting momentum, and create the time and financial freedom to live on your terms and not be buried by stress or debt. I remember a time in my life when I had to work two jobs. I've been a therapist for over 25 years, and honesty, therapy career is not a career that I'm going to become rich at. It was a career that allowed me to help others, which I love doing. I worked in a school, so I absolutely loved helping the children and being a resource to parents and to my staff to help the children that have mental health concerns, um, live a successful life and be able to make proper choices without dysregulation. It was a huge passion of mine. But life kind of continued, right? And we got into credit card debt because you would use a credit card because you want things, but you didn't always have the cash to do it. And that wasn't the life that I really wanted. And I needed to work a second job for a while because we were in debt too far. And I was working as a emergency room social worker. So after I would work 50 hours a week in my 9 to 5, well, it really wasn't 9 to 5 job, but it was in a school. So, but I would typically work 50 hours a week because the 40 hours was in the building and then 10 hours was me either going in earlier or staying later. And, but I was salaried. So 50 hours didn't really matter. I didn't make more money because I worked longer. And so to exchange, so you learn like you want to get out of this debt. So I started working as an emergency room social worker. So I would do a 12-hour shift after 50 hours. Sometimes I would do two 12-hour shifts every other weekend. And so it became a lot. And I remember one day when my daughter was like, Mom, you have to work this weekend again. Like you have to work another weekend. And that sentence hit me like a boulder in my stomach. It was just heart wrenching to hear her say, You have to work again. And I wanted to explain to her why I was working, but she was a kid. She didn't need to know that we were in debt. And so I had to make some choices. And I didn't want to exchange more time to bring home that dollar. So making, time for money. And I didn't want to take any more time away from my kids. So I had resigned from that, and we continued to live paycheck to paycheck and not, have the extras. So, and we didn't get out of credit card debt because you would just make the minimum payment. And that really felt awful. And so I did start working another part time job. And so it wasn't every weekend, but it was one night a week at a local community center as a counselor. And so one night a week, I would miss out on family time because I wouldn't get home until almost 10 o'clock at night. And by that time, my kids were usually in bed. So, and my husband was getting ready to go to bed. So I literally would leave the house at 6:30 in the morning and get home at 10 o'clock at night. So again, not very much fun. And then my husband passes away suddenly. And that became even harder to manage all the finances, but I knew I couldn't work two jobs. Not while I was grieving, not while I was trying to manage a household on my own, not while I was trying to help my kids navigate grief. So I resigned from that. And about a year ago, I was introduced to a wonderful community. And it has taught me how to build recurring monthly income. So I never start at zero. Every month it recurs. And it's based on it's with the subscription model. So we're leveraging the subscription model that so many companies are using. And you know why so many companies are using this subscription model? Because it's been proven. Amazon was one of the first companies that introduced the subscription model. You know, it went from being a service, a company where you could purchase books, and then it went into this having things that you could have delivered to your house the next day, and then they introduced the Prime, right? Amazon Prime. And that's when the subscription models companies have taken off because it's been proven that companies can maintain or become an even bigger company by getting this recurring revenue to come in from memberships. So many things are moving into memberships. And look at how many. I want you to put in the comments, how many subscriptions do you pay for? Think about it. If you have Amazon, maybe Costco, Hulu, Netflix, so many places have subscriptions. Even my local car wash has turned is as asking if you want to have a monthly subscription. There are so many monthly subscriptions. And so I joined a community where we leverage one of these subscription based companies. And every month, as we get more members to join, our revenue increases. And so I'm looking for more driven, business driven women, or maybe you are a stay at home mom that is looking to help your family get out of credit card debt or avoid credit card debt. But there's so many of us, especially with the increasing expenses. And summertime is a time when we reflect on that because maybe some of us want to go on a vacation but can't afford it. We always say, want to do that but can't afford it. I know I did. I know I said so many times I wanted to take my kids on this vacation or that vacation and was like, can't afford it. So never did it, never booked it. Our friends would be talking about these things that they were doing and I would research what it would cost us to do it. And we would go over it and be like, nope, can't afford it. So we never did it. Well, now I'm not living like that. I'm not living in this fear of spending money because I've joined forces with this company and have that recurring income in. And so that's what my mission is to move have that momentum to move forward, not have the stress of daily living, because moms, let's face it, living as a mom is stressful. If you're working or not working out of the home, having kids is stressful. We love them to pieces, but it can be very stressful because one, we're doing everything for everybody, but two, we also carry the stress possibly of this financial debt that we're creating or trying to get out of. And so this is an opportunity to join me in doing this. Let's move that needle forward. And one, stop living with stress. And two, get out of debt. So in my description below is a link to this wonderful community. And we have women or men, mostly women, 18 through 70 that have joined us. So you don't need a lot of experience. You just have to be able to have a phone, and you can do it from anywhere. I made money while I was on vacation this last time. I was in Virginia on a vacation and I made money. It was nice to open up my checking account when I got home and see that I had a deposit from this company that I've linked with. And so the other part of my community is that we have so many wonderful free trainings to get you started and to keep that momentum going when you build this business, but then also opportunities where you can be on a call with women from all over the world, getting that energy, that positive energy, that, just that celebrations. We celebrate each other, and it's been wonderful. So I would love for you to join me. The link is in the description. And then also make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss anything. Like I said, I'm going to be changing some things up. I'm going to be changing the title. I'm going to be changing just some things that I present. I will be presenting things about this opportunities in regards to how to make additional revenue so you do not have to work paycheck to paycheck or live paycheck to paycheck or work a second job to pay off debt. Or, there's so many of those things that I see online in regards to, getting involved in debt-free companies where they'll pay, they basically consolidate all your debt and then give you one payment to make, and you have to make that payment to that company for so long while they pay off some of your debt. Or there's some other companies where they negotiate a rate down for you, but again, you pay them a certain amount, and God forbid, you make that decision to file for bankruptcy to get out of debt. I want to help you avoid all of that, because all of those solutions might get you out of debt, but it's very stressful as well. So this is an opportunity where you can do it and help yourself decrease your stress level. So we're going to be talking about ways to help, create that momentum for financial freedom. But we're also going to be talking about how do we regulate our nervous system as a mom? How do we, have stress-free living? And so I have dropped some other lives in regards to having that mindset. Also, we've called it Mindful Monday, where we've done some techniques to help yourself. So all of those videos are going to stay up here even after I change the title. So you're welcome to go back to old videos in regards to, having those moments in your day where you can take just a breather to pause, and it gives you specific techniques to do. So you're welcome to go back to those old videos to check that out. But again, welcome momentum makers, I'm so glad you're here, and I look so forward to having you in my community where we can live, like we can move forward. We can have that momentum to move forward and have the time and financial freedom on your terms, and that you're not buried by stress or debt.